Hi, this is the first video for introducing the Unix or Linux operating system. In this episode, I'll get you set up to use the Linux operating system, and I'll show you the idea of command line operating systems. So most of you will be running Windows, so for you to use Linux, you will have to install it. At this point, you might want to install a virtual machine instead of trying to install one on your computer. So there's two choices I know. One is the VirtualBox. You can download this one for Windows here. It's virtualbox.org. This is currently owned by the Oracle. Another option is to use the VMware. We want to use the VMware player. Just the player itself. We don't have to download the full version. So you just search for VMware player, and you just click on this one and just download it. It will require you to register. This should be but if you want a quick start, you can just download VirtualBox. It doesn't even require you to restart your computer. And then you also have to download the Ubuntu iOS image for you to install Ubuntu. So this is just straightforward installation. So I'm not gonna go over this. I'm just gonna show you what your options are. The other quick option is the using the Cygwin for Windows. Like it says, is get that Linux feeling on Windows. So it give you like a Linux feeling on your Windows, so that you can run like a Linux commands on Windows. Here I have already installed it here. So if I click on this one, this is the Cygwin. So so you see that it has a prompt, it has a $sign. So over here, this is the command line where the cursor blinks. So you can type in your commands here, and yeah, basically it's a shell. It's currently it's running bash shell, and a shell is basically an environment where Linux or Unix commands can run in. So what I type in is at this point, all you have to type is just the commands. You can't do any click using the mouse to click. You can only use commands to command line to send whatever operations you want to do. So here the ls is the command, and then you notice there's a hyphen or minus sign. Anything after minus sign is basically the options or the switches. So in this case, if I just do ls, it will just list all the files in the current directory. But if I do ls minus l, and l stands for long listing, so ls minus l will give me the long listing. A long listing means that it will give me the permissions. So the first column is the permission set. The second column is the number of links pointing to this file. The third one is the owner of this file. The fourth column is the group in which the owner belongs to at that moment, when he created this file. And this is the modification time. This is when it was modified. So yeah, this is just a simple explanation of what the command is. And so when you install Cygwin, there's several commands that it does not install by default. So during the installation process, you might have to look into what you want to install. An example is by default, Cygwin does not install Vim or VI editor, which we will be using, which most people will be using, VI or Vim editor. It's a text editor. It's like the notepad that you see on Windows, but you just can't click on it. You have to always have to use keyboards to move around. So this is just a basic explanation of how things are done in Linux environment. Basically, you can't really use your mouse to point anything. Everything has to be done on keyboard, and basically everything has to be done on keyboard. And you could like do copy and pasting with the mouse, but in terms of like moving your cursor around or trying to open another file, you can't really like use the mouse. So it's different from the GUI system you see on Windows. Okay, so let's want to move to the. Okay, so here's the Ubuntu that I have installed and currently running. I installed the version Ubuntu 12.04, but you know, any version is fine. You just want to, at this point, we just want to. We're not interested in, you know, Linux GUI version. We're more interested in the command line. You know, we're interested in the terminal. So so to get the terminal, the older version, they have the top menu where it allows you to look for the different applications, just like your Windows Start menu. It allows you to look for different applications that you have installed. The newer version is you have to click on this dash home icon, and then you just type in look for terminal, and this is the one. So you want to click on this. Okay, so we are in the terminal right now. I can maximize this. Okay, now the first thing you will always be like when you log into Linux, you know, Linux box, you will always go into your home directory, and your home directory is basically /home/ my username. Okay, so in the Unix environment, right? There's no C drive, there's no, you know, D drive or anything. Everything starts on root. And when I say root, I mean the slash here, the first slash before home. That means it's root. Okay, so it starts from root and then go to home directory. Directory is similar to folders in Windows. And then the next directory is the next level of directory is my username. So it's always like /home/ and then your username. When you log into a Linux box, you're always going to this place. Okay, and so if my username was like, you know, Joe, I will be go to the home/Joe instead of home/UJ Designer 85. Okay, so the root is this one. Like I said, it's a slash. Okay, so every time when you try to go to root, you have to give it a complete path. Okay, if you want to go from the root, you have to give it a complete path, a full path, or absolute path. So if you want to go to root, you have to go to the cd/. Okay, so now you're at the root directory. Now, of course, you don't see any files because in Linux environment it doesn't show you the files when you try to go to a different directory. You have to list it out. You have to explicitly list it out. So if I do the ls, oops, what did I do? Okay, if I do ls minus ltr, I will see all the content under root, under the slash, the first the root directory. Okay, and you can see that we have like a bunch of different directories here. Most of the time, if you're like a developer, you won't be concerned with all these directories. These directories are more for administrators, for them to you know, install different programs on there. So you're at the root directory. Okay, and you see that we have a home here. Okay, now you can use your mouse to when you double click on a word, it will highlight the whole word. Okay, and if you want to, so if you want to paste it, okay, you just have to in this environment you would do a middle click, and it will paste whatever you just highlighted. Okay, you don't have to do copy. You don't have to like you don't have to go right click and then go copy. And you don't have to do that because whenever you highlighted something, it will automatically copy that word, and then when you want to paste it, you just click on the middle button of your mouse. Okay, now that's it's a different story in the server-based server-based Linux, where you don't even have these GUIs. Okay, the way that you paste it on a server base on a Ubuntu server version, you have to do like just do right click and then it will paste. But in this case, we can't do that because like when we do right click, it actually shows up a menu. But in a non-GUI version, there is no right click menu. There's no such thing. So like so what they did is like when you do a right click, it will do a paste. But in this Ubuntu GUI version we have GUI, we have these icons, so we're running the Ubuntu GUI version, the desktop version. We just have to do a middle click, and then it will paste. Okay. So you see that like so let's try to go to our home directory, right? So we said our home directory is /home/UJDesigner85. Okay, so since we're already in slash already, and we display the content of the root directory, and we see this home directory. Okay, so so we want to go to this home directory because we want to follow this, right? Because the first directory we go to is the root, the second directory we go to is the home, the third directory is the UJDesigner85. So we're already at the first directory, so we want to go to the home. So we want to do cd then home. Okay. So cd is short for change directory. So when you want to change to another directory, you will always want to use cd. Okay. So now we're at the /home. We're at the first directory is the root. Okay, and the home is underneath the root directory. Okay, and then the UJDesigner85 is under the home directory. Okay, so just to confirm that we want to list out all the contents in the home directory. So let's see. So you see we have this UJDesigner85 here. Okay, so that means UJDesigner85 is under the directory home. So you want to go to the UJDesigner85. So we want to go cd and then paste it. Okay, and then we're at home. Right now we're at home. If we do a pwd, stands for present working directory. It will basically show you where you are currently. Okay, so if you ever lost, if you don't know where you are in the file system, just do a pwd and then you will know where you are. Okay, so if I do pwd, you see that I'm at the /home/UJDesigner85. Okay, so this is basically how Linux works. Like when you want to go anywhere, you have to specify a path. Instead of on Windows, you do a click, 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 and then you're there. So in the Linux environment, you have to give you have to type it out. So everything is very keyboard intensive. Basically, the only thing you use is keyboard, and it's really convenient to remember those shortcuts, which I will show you later on. Because it's just a lot faster. We don't have to do too many operations. You can just use the shortcut to achieve what you want to do. Okay, so notice that we have a tilde here. Just tilde here. Okay. Now tilde, you see that we don't have tilde before. Like when we're here, we don't see tilde. We see slash. And even when we're at the root, we see a slash. When we're at the home directory, we see a slash. We see the path. Basically, we see the path. We don't see tilde. But when we are at home directory, when we are at the /home/UJDesigner85, we see a tilde. Okay, in Linux environment, tilde means home, basically. Okay, so if let's say I go back to the root directory again, I go to the root directory, alright, and then I say I want to go to the home directory, I will do the CD and then a tilde. Okay, and then it will bring me back to home. Okay, and this is another way to go back home. Actually, a shorter way, a better way. Okay, so let's go back to the root directory again. We're not at home right now. And to go to home, you just simply type in CD and then nothing else, and then press enter, and then it will automatically go to your home directory. That's the default behavior for change for CD, change directory. If you don't specify a path, okay, this is the path you specify slash, this is the path, or UJDesigner85, this is the path that you specify. But if you don't specify anything, it will go to the home directory. Okay, so you don't have to go to one directory at a time. You could just give it the whole path, instead of like go to the CD slash and then CD home and then CD UJDesigner. You don't have to do that. You can just give it a full path. Okay, and then you can go to the home directory. So if you like, well, you don't have like any directory. Okay, so let's go to the root directory again, and this time let's say we want to go to the home directory, right? Or any directory, right? So we'll do a CD slash home slash UJDesigner, and then the good thing is that you can tab it. Just press the tab key, and then it does the auto complete for you. Okay, and then you just press enter, and then it will go to the home directory. Okay, so the parameter for CD is the path. So the path can be a whole path, relative path. It can be any kind of path. And okay, so that's that. So are you getting me right now? Because like right now you should understand that like in the Linux environment, when you travel around the file system, when you go through around the file system, you always use CD and then the path to go around the system. And when you do a CD, you go to that directory. But there's also another way for you not to go to that directory, but you could still open the files in some particular directory. So that I'll show you later. But let's get more familiar with the CD. So let's say you went around the system, and then let's say I want to go back to the previous directory. So my previous directory, right now I just went to my home directory here, right? And my previous directory was the root directory. So if I want to go back to the previous directory, okay, I will do CD and then minus, enter, and then I will be going back to the previous directory. Okay, so that's how it is, and to move around. So let's go back to the home directory again by pressing the CD with no options, no parameters. And then so let's look at our present working directory. Okay, so if you want to go up one level, right? If you want to go up one level, you do CD and then 2 periods. Okay, now the 2 periods means the directory on top of the current directory. So it means like one directory above the current directory. Okay, so if I do a CD 2 period, I should be going to the /home. So you see what I'm doing here? Like I do a pwd, and I know that currently I'm at the home/UJDesigner85. So if I do a CD period, that means I want to go up one level, which is the home directory, which is the /home here. So indeed, yeah, when I did that 2 periods, I got to the slash home directory. So if I do a pwd, I'm at the slash home directory. Okay, and there's also another symbol for current directory, like wherever you are right now, which is the single period. So if I do cd, just a single period, and enter, then nothing really happens, right? Because I'm going to the current directory. That means I'm not changing any directory. Basically, I'm still going to the current directory. I'm staying, at the same place. So the period means the current directory. Okay, so if you want to go to the UJ Designer 85's home directory, you could say cd, and then you say you want to start from the current directory, right? And then from the current directory you want to go to the UJ Designer, and you just press tab to autocomplete. Okay, what this means is like you say cd, right? And you say period. Period is the current directory. So you're saying you want to go from current directory, and then you want to go down. You want to go down one level, which is going to the UJ Designer 85 directory. So period means current directory. Okay, and if you do that, you'll be going home again, which is the home slash UJ Designer 85. Okay. So this is the CD. I hope I'm not missing anything on the CD. There are definitely many others options you can do. So you should check it out. Go Google it about the CD. Different shortcuts you can change directories. But in general, I find like these are the only ones I would need. But you might prove me wrong with whatever you find. So yeah, I'm just drop a comment on whatever you find, share it with everybody, and it's this is like I'm hoping to build like a community learning environment, so everybody can learn from each other. Yeah. Okay, so I show you how to move around the file system, right? I show you how to move around the file system. And actually, let me show you something else, like but you explain. I'll go more into the autocomplete, which can be very helpful sometimes, right? So let's say you go to the root directory, right? Let's say you want to go to the let's say a bin or lib, any directories, right? So you want to go cd. You say something that starts with L, like in the in the root directory, for the contents in the root directory, right? Something that starts with L, you don't know, right? So you can do like press tab, nothing, right? So press tab 2 times. Okay, then you see it will list out all the directories or all the files that starts with actually I think it just starts just lists out all the directory. It doesn't list out all the files. I'm not too sure about that, but anyway, that's not really important. You can just go to, you can just tap press on the tab twice, and then it will give you all the options available. So that means lib is under the root directory, and lost and found is under the root directory. So if you want to go to lib, just press, and then you just continue with I, right? So there's no other, and then you press tab, and then it will autocomplete, right? And that's because li, the only option you have for something that starts with li is the lib. That's it. Because lost and found starts with lo, not li. So when you type in li and then you press on tab to autocomplete, it will choose the correct option for you, which is the lib. Okay. So now you don't have to keep on doing change directory, and then it's just a bunch of repetitive CDs, right? So you just keep on tapping tab 2 times. You just hit tab 2 times again. Okay, and then it will show you the content inside the lib. Okay, so at this point you are looking at the content of root directory, and then lib, okay, and then you basically look at the content of the lib directory, and you see all these all these folders. And how do we know they are folders? Because they have a slash. You see they have a slash behind them. That means it's a directory. Okay, so so you realize that we didn't even need to go to the lib directory. Our current directory is still at the root directory, but we didn't even have to go to the lib directory. We didn't even have to go inside the lib. We can actually just peek at the content of the lib directory, and this is what we have. When we peek in the lib directory, we see all these different directories here, right? So let's say I want to go to like something that start with B, right? So B, and then just type it twice. Oh, I guess there's only one directory that starts with B, so you don't even have to tap twice. But I mean, you could, this doesn't hurt if you hit on tab too many times. It's not gonna act crazy. So always use tab. Yeah. So okay, so now you're at the now you're trying to look into the root directory, and then lib, and then brltty. Okay, now you want to look into the content of brltty, right? You want to look into the content of this path. Okay, so you just do tab twice again, right? Oh, sorry, can't select anything here. No. Oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong then. Then that's weird. Is it because I'm doing insert? Looks like I'm doing something insert. Okay. No. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, so now, yeah, the brltty, it has so many files, right? It has so many files I cannot even finish looking at them. Like if I've moved. Okay, so sometimes that you go to a directory and then it has thousands of files, right? And it will try, and then if you do the ls-ltr, it will try to display all of them. And then sometimes that does not work because it will always display everything, and then you don't see all the files anymore. Okay, oh, what do I do here? Okay, so I'm not going to introduce more commands right now. I'm just gonna go to the file system first, before we get into more details here. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what these permissions are doing here, like this one. Okay, so these permissions, right? Yes, you see R, you see W. Okay, R stands for readable permission, so you can it's give you the read permission for this file. W give you the write permission. Okay, so that means that you can write to this file, and and then the third one here is an X, right? X give you the executable permission for this file. Executable permission means that you can run this process. So when you run this process, it will try to it will try to execute different commands and such. So these are the three different kinds of permissions you have. Of course, from the administrator's perspective, there's actually more complicated ways of specifying permissions. Sometimes sometimes you can set permissions that give you temporary root permissions. You can temporarily use the root permission to process the file or to write to the file and stuff like that. Okay, so when I say root, right, in Linux, root is the super user of the system. Okay, root is like the god, basically the god of Linux system. So if you're the root user, right, you can do anything in there. Okay, as compared to different users, where different users, they are restricted to do some stuff they might not be able to install programs or remove programs. They may be not able to remove some files that belong to other users and such. But with the root user, okay, you can do anything. You can just delete, install, uninstall programs in there. Okay, so now you look at this and you said, why are there so many R's and so many W's and X? Why there multiple R, multiple W, multiple X? Okay, so the permission is like RWX, right? So you have RWX, RWX, RWX. Okay, so this is the possibility, right? This is the possible combination that you may have. Okay, you have three sets of RWX. Okay, now the first set of RWX is for the owner of the file. Okay, so that means in this case the owner of this file can read this file, can write to this file, and also can execute this file. Okay, so this set of RWX belongs to the owner. That's the first set of RWX. The second set of RWX belongs to the group members. Okay, so if let's say I'm in the group of engineer, right? User designer is in the group of engineer, and then we have another user that's also in the group of engineer, and this file belongs to the group of engineer. Then the other person can also read, write, and execute this file. Okay, so the second set of RWX means that if the file's group if the user is in the same group as the file's group name, then the user can do read, write, and execute in this case. Okay, so that's the second set. The second set of permission is for group members that are in the same group with the file. Okay, and the third set of the RWX, that's for everyone else. So anyone, people that are not in the same group, they could read, write, and execute to this file. Okay, so the third set is for everyone else. That should be simple. Yeah. Okay, so in this case we have the three sets of permissions, and each set we have the read, write, and executable permission for everyone, right? We have read, write, executable for the owner, we have read, write, executable for the group members, and we have read, write, executable for the everyone else. Okay, so this is no good because you let anyone else can touch this file. Okay, so this is no good. And let's say if we want to allow the owner to do everything, we want the owner to do like read, write, execute. We want the group members to do read, write, and execute as well. But everyone else, we say no, you cannot do anything to it. You cannot read, you cannot write, or you cannot execute to that file, right? So what you can do is that you can set this permission. Okay, you can set RWX. That's for the first set of RWX. That's for owner. Yes, owner can execute, read, write, and execute and read. And then the group members can also read, write, and execute, right? But for everyone else, you see a minus sign, right? The minus sign means it's a negation, means negative. Okay, the user cannot read. All the other users cannot read, or write, or execute the file. Okay, so the minus sign means that it's a negative permission. That means you cannot, you cannot do that specific, operation. Okay, so maybe you want to give all the other users a readable permission, but all the other users cannot write or execute this file, right? So maybe you want to give it R and then minus and then minus. Okay, so you see that the first set owners can do everything, second set, you see the group members can do everything, and then the third set, which is for everyone else, and then everyone else can read this file, but they cannot do write or execute. Okay. Okay, so minus means is negative. Okay, and then the pattern, the permission pattern will always be read, write, execute, read, write, execute. Okay, so if you want to give the writable permission for all the other users, you do W and then minus. Okay, in this case, all the other users can read, write, but they cannot execute, because the execute flag for all the others is a minus, which means they cannot do that operation. Okay. Okay, so that's that, and you know, you can do this. So let's do some exercise like this one. You know. Okay, so you look at this. Okay, you see the first set, right? Each set is just 3 characters, right? The first set, all W minus. Okay, this means the owner can read and write, but owner cannot execute this file. Okay, the second set is all minus minus. Okay, all minus minus is that means that the user can read, the group members can read, right? But I'm sorry. The second set means that all the other group members can just read, but then they cannot do write or execute. Then the third set is the or everyone else. Everyone else cannot read this file, which is in a contradictory. That if you well, you could still write to a file. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you could still write to a file. I mean, you don't have to read a file, but you can still like write to a file. That's fine. And then you can, and then everyone else can execute that file. Okay. So let's do an exercise. Okay, so let's go to home directory, and let's start a file called like you know, test.txt. Okay. Oh, oops. I guess we didn't install this Vim yet. Anyway, I'll continue this on the next lessons, and then and I'll show. We will continue from there. From there. All right. So I'll see you next time then. Okay, just need to start.